Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on a pretty major free title that is officially shutting down for the year. It will be coming back at some point, so you can look forward to that. But it's a game that will be officially launching in 2024. We'll talk all about that. Resident Evil 4 may have had something leak via Steam. We'll talk about that. And also, Steam Deck has hit a major milestone. We'll talk that at the end of this video. But first of all, Multiversus has officially shut down for the year. The free-to-play title is no longer playable online on Steam, but you can still play the game offline, so let's talk about it. Obviously, Multiversus came out back last year in July. It was in this beta period, a free-to-play platform fighter that lets you team up with your friends, including some of the iconic DC characters, Batman, Shaggy, a whole roster of iconic IPs represented. But obviously, it is shutting down. It shut down a couple days ago, June 25th. Multiversus online features will be disabled as our open beta has concluded. During our hiatus, all unlockable content will be temporarily available for your enjoyment, for you to utilize in offline play. Once Multiversus returns for the game's launch in 2024, your account inventory will return to how it was prior to June 25th. So you're not going to retain any of the content. Of course, it is a free-to-play game, and sustainability and microtransactions are kind of the way that these games are sustainable. Multiversus is a game that, if you guys remember, launched to so much buzz, so much hype, and you know, when you're starting off and you're getting off the ground with 130,000 Steam players concurrently, the only place to go from there is down. So obviously, there was a lot of articles and whatnot, and I always find these articles to be a little bit disingenuous when you're like, oh, X game has lost 90% of its player base. Like, I one time saw an article that was like, Elden Ring has lost 90% of its player base after, I forget what the time duration was, it was like a couple weeks or a month, and it's like, bro, Elden Ring's a primarily single-player game. Like, you play the game once, and then a lot of people are gonna move on. But, that's always gonna be the case with the majority. I want to say like 90%, and that's probably a conservative number. With these free-to-play games, multiplayer-focused titles, you're going to launch to a gargantuan player base, and the success of especially free-to-play live service titles is where are you going to settle at? What is going to be that number? And Multiversus fell off a cliff as far as what number it's settled at, which is unfortunate. But sometimes that player base, it's established on factors outside of just game quality. You look at a game like Knockout City that just shut down. That game's a high-quality multiplayer title, but guess what? Sometimes that is not enough. That is the unfortunate reality with these live service games. But Multiversus, it had that huge jolt when it initially launched in open beta. Now it's going to come back in 2024. I believe that it's going to get another nice jolt once it returns. However, I do not think it's possible for them to hit that number that they initially had when the game initially dropped. It's just, the luster's not there anymore. You're not going to get to 130,000 players. I just don't think that's going to happen, but you are going to have a jolt, and you're going to have a nice amount of players playing it. Is it going to be sustainable? We'll see, as they are going to invest a lot more time and whatnot to the game coming out in 2024. We'll see how that ultimately turns out. All right, moving on from that, and this is probably a sign of things to come. Resident Evil 4 on Steam has just gotten some new hidden Steam achievements listed. Now, what does this mean? Chances are this means that some sort of DLC announcement will be coming here shortly. This actually happened with, I believe, Resident Evil 7 as well, where hidden achievements were listed for the game. Nobody knows what they are, and 0% of players obviously have them because the DLC or the extra content is not out yet, so that is pretty exciting as far as, content that is going to be rolling out to the game. Resident Evil 4 was a tremendous game. If you want to say it's your favorite game of the year, I can definitely understand that. Like, to me, it's Resident Evil 4. It's Jedi Survivor. Yes, horrible port aside, I love Jedi Survivor. When that game works, it really works, and I played through it again recently, and I really enjoyed another playthrough of it, and the port's much better. Don't buy it again. You can't say it's the game of the year just because, you know, the game's an atrocious port, but it's a good game, and hopefully it runs a lot better here sometime in the future. Obviously, there's titles like Hogwarts Legacy, Dead Space Remake, RE4. A lot of people love Final Fantasy 16. I enjoy the game as well. Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4. It's just been a loaded year, but Resident Evil 4 was one of the highlights of the year, and it's just a fantastic game. And Capcom knocked it out of the park with that. I'm not a big fan of Mercenaries mode coming out and then throwing in some microtransactions with the game. Never a fan of that, but nonetheless, I think the DLC is going to do fairly well. I believe that should be coming out by the end of the year. I don't think they're going to wait too long to get this DLC out, but we'll see when that does come to fruition. If you have yet to pick up RE4, I can understand. $60 game, not a super lengthy game. Like, it's a, 14 to 15 hour game if you take your time a little bit. If you want to do like everything, maybe a little bit longer than that. And obviously you can beat the game a lot quicker. Like, people that are good at these games can beat the game fairly quickly. I mean, there's an achievement in the game that's beat the game in under 8 hours, I believe it is. And, most people are probably going to do a run like that in a New Game Plus where they have, extra stuff and whatnot, but I digress. The game's great. It's also a worthwhile game to do multiple playthroughs of. Like, I know people that have played through RE4 like 3 times. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. And 3 times is probably conservative. Like, there's probably people that have done like 5 playthroughs of the game, which is insane. Like, for me, usually it's 1 or 2 playthroughs and then I move on. But hey, if you get more mileage by doing more playthroughs, more power to you. And RE4 has been a game that people have gotten a lot of mileage of. Speaking of which, Steam Deck has hit 10,000 playable verified games. Playable and verified games. RE4 is actually a game I played a little bit on the deck. I didn't do the majority of my playtime on the deck, but I definitely played a little bit of it. Ran pretty darn well on the Steam Deck. Was enjoying that quite a bit. And Steam Deck has hit a major milestone with 10,000 playable and verified games. Now, while it has hit 10,000 playable and verified games, there's a lot more games than 10,000 that are playable and verified. Or I should say playable. Verified is just, Valve's own process that they go through. A game like Final Fantasy 13 actually runs really well on the Steam Deck, but I don't believe that game's even listed playable on the deck. It's playable, but not verified. But there's games out there like that, like Neo: The World Ends With You is another game that I feel like runs really well on the deck. And I played a lot of it on the deck, and yeah, that's not verified either. So it's kind of interesting how they decide games are verified. Like, to me, Horizon Zero Dawn's performance isn't that great on the deck. At least when I tried it out, that game did not run that well for me. Like, I had a lot of stuttering in that game, but I don't know. I also saw some people were getting really good experiences with it. Spider-Man, on the other hand, that game's phenomenal on the deck. I was shocked at how well that game ran. But the Steam Deck and just portable gaming PCs, man, do I love these things. I got the ROG Ally as well, and yeah, the Ally is like my main driver as far as my portable gaming goes, because that thing is fantastic. I'm sorry, but the 1080p screen to me is a real difference maker, even though games are certainly more difficult to run at 1080p. And I'm playing through The Last of Us on my Ally, and that game at 1080p will like straight up just crash, so I have to play that at 720p. But other games like a Final Fantasy 13, playing that at 1080p, definitely I prefer that over 800p on the deck. To me, resolution's actually a pretty big deal as far as gaming goes. Even on a smaller screen, like 800p looks fine, it looks pretty good, but the Ally's screen at 1080p looks like really, really nice, so I definitely do like it. Obviously has better performance, but not like gargantuanly better performance, but certainly better performance than the deck. But the deck is a monster in its own right, and the fact you can get a deck, with no additional storage for $400, and then you can buy your own storage, that's a pretty decent value. Obviously, at some point they'll do a version 2, and curious to see how that'll be, but the deck is something that I think has surprised everybody with how well it has resonated with the PC gaming market, and I think these handheld gaming PCs are gonna be here to stay. They've been around for a while, but I think Valve really popularized them, and now a lot of people dig the Ally. Some people don't like the Ally, like, I get it. Some people I've talked to, they've felt the Ally and they just don't feel it's as comfortable as the deck, where I feel the totally opposite. I think the Ally feels better than the deck in my hands, but I don't know. That might just be a preference thing, because I certainly hear more people say that they prefer how the deck feels, but nonetheless, it's just great to see the portable gaming PC market really expand quite a bit. Obviously, the Ally also runs on Windows, so like natively, it's really easy to get Game Pass rolling on there. Battle.net to play Diablo. I know a lot of people are doing that and whatnot, so that's pretty cool as well. But that'll do it for me. Again, Multiversus officially shuts down for the year on Steam. It'll be back in 2024. Resident Evil 4 looks like a big Steam leak, I guess you could say. I don't even know what to call it. I mean, it's listed on Steam, so take it for what you will. And Steam Deck has hit 10,000 playable and verified games. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.